mentioned earlier that I'm a member of this wonderful Hollywood Women's Club. This club was founded 111 years ago in April of 1905. It is really the history of Hollywood itself. There were 20 women who were the wives, daughters, and sisters of the early pioneers who established this club. And they also founded the Hollywood Bowl, the Hollywood Public Library, Hollywood High School. So all of this was done, by the way, before women had the right to vote, which I think is pretty amazing. This place is so famous. Behind here, you've seen the piano? It belonged to Charlie Chaplin. And Charlie Chaplin donated that piano to this club. Also, do you remember Gloria Swanson? I mean, it was before our time, but Gloria Swanson was very much into nutrition. She taught nutrition here. And Mary Pickford, very much into horticulture. She had a garden club here. And Gary Cooper used to come here for lunch all the time. They had premieres up on the rooftop and dinners, which again, it's an exciting kind of place. But here's the piece of lore about this place that I love the most, and that is, does everybody know who Edith Head is? All right, guess what? Edith Head was a school teacher. And right behind here, you see that one-room place? That is where she taught. But she not only taught in that room, she lived in that room. She boarded here. And it was one of her students who worked for the costume department at Paramount who actually introduced Edith Head to Paramount, and that's how she got her job in the costume department. The rest is history. But also, this little schoolhouse back here, Douglas Fairbanks Jr., Douglas Fairbanks went to school there, Jean Harlow, and gosh.
Cecil DeMille's niece or daughter?
That's exactly right. Anyway, a number of people actually, Carol Burnett, for gosh. Anyway, went to school back here. So this place really is the history of Hollywood itself. So I'm urging some of you who are actually, living in Los Angeles, you don't have to live in Hollywood, but take out a membership here. It's really a wonderful club, all ages and all everything, and just a wonderful, wonderful place. So that's my little Chamber of Commerce speech.
Thank you, Kathryn. All right. So here we are. This is a thrill for me. I've known Kathryn many years, and then I met my friend Kathy Green, who's the daughter of Johnny Green, the songwriter, and she said, I have a friend who's on Dark Shadows. You do? Who is it? James Hall. I said, you mean Sam Hall, Matthew Hall? No, Jimmy Hall. I said, I look at the picture, and it's the original Willie Loomis. I went, oh my God! And he lives in Santa Monica. Right away, we've been pals ever since. We've been corresponding, and this is the first time we've met in person. I am so thrilled. Give James Hall a special welcome as well. Now, you and Kathryn were in the same acting class, is that right? Let's talk about...
Yeah. Win Hammond, but were you in Uta Hagen's class too? Yeah, Uta Hagen that was the class. Also, Win Hammond. Here's the funny story. Win Hammond is in his 90s. 91. I took classes with him a year ago when I was back in New York. I couldn't resist, and I called him up. Yeah, and I called up and I said, I studied with you 50 years ago, and he said, well, come on back. So anyway, but we met in Win Hammond's class, but also in Uta Hagen. So that's really kind of fun. How many episodes did you do?
5.
He did 5.
I'm a footnote.
All right, tell us. I want to hear how you got. I know she helped you with the audition. There was something, and let's get the story of what that was like.
Well, my daughter said, "This is not about me. It's about Dark Shadows. So don't get me started." But it's kind of interesting because I went to Ole Miss. I was a national football champ there. Did one play at Ole Miss. Went to New York to be an actor. $200 on a bus. Uta Hagen, Win Hammond. And I was very lucky that they cast me at the American Place Theater in a play I had a front page picture of the New York Times, great reviews, and the next thing you know, they put me to work. And Dark Shadows was my first show. I knew nothing. I'd never seen a teleprompter or anything, but I got through it, and then I did 5 shows. Then I went and left the show to go Of Mice and Men, and did a rock musical with Bette Midler. I had to sing. I couldn't sing, but I needed a job. So they put me on Johnny Carson's show, Philharmonic Hall, and I was not a singer. I was embarrassed, but I needed to work. So I had interesting years in New York and did Sam Shepard plays and all kinds of things. That's pretty much my story.
Jim is a wonderful actor, and I loved working with him on Dark Shadows. And as much as we all love Johnny Carlin, I did miss Jim Hall on the show. So it's really nice to have him back in the family here. So, did you want to do questions?
We can do questions, absolutely.
All right.
Certainly.
Anybody
All
got
right.
a question? We've
Let's
got
have
answers.
some questions here. Come on, this is yes, sir.
Maybe it was your first show that were you giving any cues? I mean, you had some little quirky things, like you snap your finger and you had these little, pinches of, things about you. Was anyone cueing you? Maybe it was your first to say, think Marlon Brando, think, or.
I'm sure. Okay, I'll be honest with you. I had such a big pop in New York when I first got there. With my first play and all these reviews and front page picture in New York Times, I thought I was hot stuff. And so back in those days, it wasn't really. He didn't really want to do soap operas. He wanted to do TV commercials because he was a serious actor. Very serious. Brando I loved him. Dean, all those guys. And I did a lot of study with method and all that, But I wised up quickly that it was a business too. But Uta Hogg was great because she taught us the art of acting. And it was a whole different approach back then. Is that it was an art to it. And to try to bring that to television was you had to transform into doing that. And but it was a great experience, and things I had learned through classes. I think I brought it with me.
Thank you. All right. Yes, Miss.
What was it like to work with Joan Bennett?
What was it like to work with Joan Bennett? Do you recall any things about Joan Bennett?
The rumor goes is that I scared her, and I made her nervous. I made her nervous, and so I thought in the part that's what I was supposed to do, make her nervous. You know what I mean?
You were very menacing. You really were.
Oh well.
No, it's good. No, but go ahead.
It comes naturally.
No, so you scared? Okay, all right. Does that answer your? Okay, there you go. All right. Yes, Miss. I'm looking right. Yes, right here.
The Sam Shepard plays, which one did you enjoy the most? Which was the most memorable?
Which was the most memorable of any of the Sam Shepard plays? Did you?
Which one did you enjoy doing the most?
Well, I did one of not his famous ones, is Bagbog Beast Bait. At the American Place Theater. But an interesting footnote to that is I did the play originally. That was the same time as the double bill at the American Place. On the other double bill was Sam Shepard and Patti Smith. And Patti Smith is called Cowboy Mouth. And they were living together at the time at Chelsea Hotel and doing the play as they did it. And it was a wild thing. He only did one performance or two maybe at the American Place, then he walked off and just left it. And but in a footnote to that, though, was a few years later, I got a call from a director who knew I had originated the part of Slim. One of Sam Shepard's name, Slim. He always doing Slim. And so they called me, would I replace an actor down off Broadway in a tiny little room that seats maybe 30, 40 people. He said, because this actor has just got a job to do Grease, he's working for nothing in a room for 30, 40 people max. So I went in and took over the part I had originated, and the actor's name was Richard Gere.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, then I'm going to throw in a footnote here too. We mentioned Win Hammond earlier. Win Hammond was the one who started the American Place Theater. American Place Theater doesn't exist anymore, but it was they did nothing but avant-garde work, and he's. He's now a legend in the theater world for having started the American Place. And speaking of Richard Gere, I've been working quite a bit as an actress again. And I did a film with Richard Gere and Juliana Margulies in August. It's called Three Price of Ypsilanti, as in Ypsilanti, Michigan. And Jane Alexander and Peter Dinklage and Bradley Whitford and Charlotte Hope. Trying to think who else is in it. Stephen Root plays my husband. That film won't be out for another year or so. But I also just finished 2 weeks ago a film in Connecticut, and it's called Broadcasting Christmas, and it's going to be on Hallmark Channel, 8 o'clock, November 27th. I'm trying to remember all this. And I play the mother of Melissa Joan Hart, who was Sabrina the Witch, and Richard Klein plays my husband. It's a really delightful romantic comedy, and I play a sort of warm, lovable, slightly daffy Diane Keaton kind of mom. But it was a lot of fun. So thanks. That was a segue from Richard Gere, in case you missed it.
All right. More questions? More questions? Now's the time. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. There we go. Yes.
Are you still performing now?
Who's this question for?
You are.
Jane.
What's the
Are
question?
you still performing now?
No, I'm not. I'm retired now. I've done a few TV commercials in the last year, but I've not been acting anymore.
You have a wonderful, beautiful
Why?
family, and that's the way, man.
I wish you were still acting again. I have to say, I am going to throw this in. I am enjoying acting as much now as I did when I was in Dark Shadows. I have no idea why that is, but I'm just simply loving it. It's just so much fun. So, Jim.
Yeah, maybe after today.
Is there an agent in the house? Manager anyone?
Talk to this guy.
We'll talk.
Oh, I'm sorry, no.
Oh, you have a question? Oh, wait a minute. Come on now. Agent in the house, you raise your hand. I mean, you look like an agent with the.
First of all, I want to say, Kathryn, you look so beautiful. You must drink tons of water because your skin is flawless. So what is the secret to your immortal beauty?
Well, now I can't say.
Secret of your immortal.
Yeah, right. Okay, immortal beauty. Okay, so now I can't say French fries and red wine. Actually, I do eat fairly healthy food. But thank you very much.
And you, sir, there was a scene early on that you did with Nancy Barrett as Carolyn, where you were seducing her. Do you remember that at all? That scene? I mean, could you talk a little bit about it?
I was seducing someone.
Well, you were basically really into. She wanted to leave the room,
Oh, you
but
were
you're.
seducing. You were attacking.
Oh,
And
that
it's like,
scene.
you're not gonna
Yeah,
leave.
right.
You're supposed to
It
gun
comes
on you.
naturally. It comes naturally. And she was so beautiful too. It was easy.
Yeah, I'm sorry she couldn't be here. She had.
But she didn't like for me to touch her hair. I don't want the big, I did. Whoa!
Yeah, she had some.
Things
bouncy
haven't
hair.
changed that much.
She had bouncy hair. That was pretty bouncy.
I just.
had bouncy hair. I used to have bouncy hair. It bounced away, but it's. All right, yes, sir. Louis Wendrick, yes.
We just watched the scene where you were at the Blue Whale and you were trying to pursue her, and her didn't. Joe Brothers walked in. He was her date. You were sitting at the table, bothering Kathryn, and trying to. Do you remember anything about that?
The scene where you're in the blue whale.
Joe is
and
my
you-
boyfriend, and you were harassing me in the blue whale at the table.
Until he got there, and
Or
even
maybe
after
you
he
were
got
just
there.
coming on to me. It was hard to tell.
Good night. And we got in the fight, yeah. and he won.
I miss Joel. Oh.
You treated me so bad, darling.
I know. Forgive me.
That was good. Even when he gets there, he's like, "No, I'm staying. If you move the table, I'm going with you, both of you." So, no, there was, yeah. They showed it earlier. This is why I wish they showed it right now. But anyway, okay. Thank you. Next, yes, sir.
Can you tell us a little bit about Joel?
About Joel, do you remember much about Joel? He was a really lovely guy. He was just a couple of years older than me, and he felt like my older brother. And he actually treated me like the kid sister. He had already been a child actor. He'd also gone to Harvard, graduated Phi Beta Kappa, and he really was a scholar. He was a Dickens scholar, for that matter. And but he'd been a child actor, and he went back to acting, of course, and was on Dark Shadows with us. But then, at the same time he was doing Dark Shadows, he also did Barefoot in the Park, replacing Robert Redford on Broadway. So he was an amazing guy. I miss him terribly. And the truth is, a magazine asked me to write a piece. You know, I've always been a writer. And they asked me to write a piece about Joel Crothers, and I just sat down and started writing. And when I finished the article and turned it in, I just kept on writing. And what I wrote turned into Scrapbook Memories of Dark Shadows. He passed away in 1985. And if you remembered, my Scrapbook Memories came out in 1986. So it was really, he really was the catalyst for my writing my first book. But I really loved the guy. He was very, very special.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
For Mr. Hall, would you like to talk a little about your odyssey on Dark Shadows, like how you got the job and then how it kind of went south? Was there creative differences, or you know?
Well, he wasn't fired.
Well, what happened?
Well,
He left.
No, this is
Oh, okay,
a really good
no.
stuff about the
Oh, okay.
vampire. This is really good.
Well, I was not very comfortable being a vampire, but I worked on it. Anyway, I wanted to move on to other things. Like, for me, I was still very young. I mean, in the sense that I had almost no experience. This was my first TV show. And I was shooting for something I didn't, at that time, thought I didn't want to have a career as a soap opera actor, to tell you the truth. And I wanted to go into different directions. I did go back and did a year on Edge of Night. But I was just really naive. And I had such a big pop in New York that I didn't have to audition. They just said, "What do you want to do? We're going to put you here, we're going to put you there." And next thing you know, I was in Dark Shadows. Then we had 5 shows in a row, 30 pages to learn overnight.
Goodbye, Kathryn. I love you madly.
I'm going to give him a hug.
Say goodbye to Bob Cober. Bob Cober, James
I thought you were
Hall.
talking to me.
I love her.
Come like it is.
Okay.
Bye, Mom.
Sorry to interrupt you. Bye.
Thank you.
Yes, you in the front row?
Thank you. Kathryn,
Yes.
your first novel was a lot of fun. Any plans for a sequel or another nonfiction book?
Yeah, I've actually been a writer as much as I've ever been an actor, and I write a mystery series, the Jinx Fogarty series, and I'm working on my third, which the first is Down and Out in Beverly Hills. I have a few copies, not very many left, and Jinxed in Hollywood is the second, and Jinxed in London is the third, which I'm working on. This one, I co-authored with Jim Pearson. You should have him sign this too. It's 5 decades of Dark Shadows. And we brought this one out after we did the film with Tim Burton and Johnny Depp. And if you don't mind, I introduced this one earlier. This is the book, Last Dance at the Savoy, that I wrote about my husband. But I just signed a book contract on Friday. I'll take on Friday, and and it's for a book called If Not Now, When? And I write both nonfiction and fiction. This is a nonfiction book, and it's how to make the most out of every precious moment of this life. But it's a little more than that as well. But it's based on some blog pieces that I wrote, and they were all called If Not Now, When? And most of them had to do with travel, going to Cuba, which I did a year ago, and China the year before, and so on. So, yes, I'm still writing, the long and the short of it, and I just finished a novel called September Girl. That won't be out for another year. Thanks for asking.
All right, yes, sir.
Jim, I know that you just wrote your first book, and I thought you might want to tell people about that and tell them where they can get it.
Yeah, you did. It's the first book I ever sold.
Hold it up.
Oh, well, good. Okay, quickly, the story about this is that I have two lives. I had a life before I had my 3 children, and then I had a life with my 3 children, and then I spent all those years as being a father. But before that, I wanted them to know who I was before they were born. And people kept asking me to do my memoir, so I did my first half. And I named it, of all things, William Eggleston and Me. He's a photographer, you don't know of him, but he's a very famous photographer. I thought he would sell the book. He didn't. So I sold a few. But it's a book about Bill Eggleston and me, Mississippi, and then years in New York, and we'd come across each other at different times. It's like on the road kind of thing. I try to be discreet because I was writing it for my children, but they're adults now. So it's pretty candid, and it's on Amazon. It's called William Eggleston and Me by Jimmy Hall, and there's a lot of stories in there. And if you want to check it out, you can read the first 5 or 6 pages free, I think, on Amazon. And that's the book.
Did you bring a few copies today?
I brought 2 copies.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know.
Well, that's all right. You'll sign them. Oh, yeah, no, this is the beginning of,
Of a whole new career
of a whole
for me,
new
huh?
career, yes.
Oh, well, maybe we should write some more books.
I'm going to guarantee you probably won't go home with them, too, today. Someone's going to take them, I'm sure, I'm positive. I'm just going to.
So I have 2 other books I can let go for $30. Who wants them?
It'll happen. Oh, you write it. They've already got it.
Yeah, thank you for doing
Okay, another question. Yes, sir.
Yeah, one for both of you. What was it like in New York City in the 1960s trying to make it as actors?
What was it like in the 1960s in New York City trying to make it as actors?
I'll take that one first because for me, it was a rites of passage as well. Most of you know that I worked as a Playboy bunny when I was going to the American Academy.
That's what I knew.
Yeah. When I was going to school, indeed, I was working as a Playboy bunny, and then I got the job in Dark Shadows, and my mother in Minnesota said, "You never know how long these new shows last. I wouldn't give up your bunny job yet." So I ended up working as a Playboy bunny for another month before 2 women came into the club and said, "What's Maggie Evans doing working in the Playboy club?" And I turned in my bunny ears. But it was such an exciting time. And Jim, I know, is going to talk about this. It was really an amazing time. I mean, New York was just booming. There were just so many things happening. And I really wanted to capture that. I've always wanted to write about that period of time, and I did. The book is called Dark Passages. It's a novel, and it's written with a wink and a nod to Dark Shadows, because the heroine is a vampire. And her mother, who is a vampire, has never taught her how to live in a world of mortals. It's a very funny book, but it gave me a chance to write about New York in the 1960s.
Right. Thank you. Jimmy?
New York. I got to New York on a bus with $200 because I was stuck in Mississippi and didn't know what to do with myself. And someone asked me, when I was in Mississippi, what are you going to do? I had done one play at Ole Miss called Great God Brown, and I wasn't even in the theater. And I said, I'm going to go to New York and be an actor. It just came out. It was like an epiphany. And so I just got on a bus. I left a new house, a new car, and just got on the bus and went to New York. And ended up studying with some great teachers and got confidence. And but New York was in the mid-60s to the mid-70s when I was there. It was extraordinary. Because it was doing off-Broadway, starting. And I was hanging with the writers mostly than actors. I was living in the village. And it was so alive. You could be walking down the street and somebody be playing a saxophone in a fire escape. I even did a play on the fire escape. It was called the Fire Escape Theater. You could do theater anywhere. They did Medea in a laundromat. You could go anywhere on the streets. It was alive. You had living theater happening there. You had all kind of avant-garde. It was so alive. And then it was true art, and people expressing themselves on anywhere, everywhere.
Cafe La Mama.
Cafe La Mama, big time, yes. And all those great playwrights and poets. I hung out with those guys. And it was an education. I got my education in New York more ways than one.
We all did.
Oh, yeah. And then there was the bars. But it was a great time there. And it's also a time, though, even appropriate to our time now, because it was an expression of freedom. And I was marching on Washington, D.C. in 1969 when my brother was bombing Vietnam. Things were changing.
Okay. All right. Okay, let's move on. All right.
Anybody got a question?
I don't want this way, but I am.
No, it's okay.
Question?
We have another question right here.
I noticed in Dark Shadows Companion, Kathryn, you mentioned something about the writers writing for the strength of the actors. They wrote totally different from James here than what they wrote for John. James, they had him a very dangerous road with probably no one you would want to read in the back alley. But John, Bart was worse than his Bible, and Barnabas and Julia always manipulated John Carter. So, you have any insight on that?
Give it to me, what?
Okay,
Well,
so
the writers wrote to our
Me
strengths,
differently.
and the writers wrote differently for you. You were more dangerous, and Johnny Carlin came in, and he had that vulnerable side because Julia, he was always able to kind of manipulate him. So the writers really wrote to our strengths, and that's what he's asking. Michael.
Hey, Michael. I don't know. I was just trying to keep up. And
So you are not from the dangerous part of Mississippi?
that's the other side. You want to see me? You want to mess? You talking to me? I'll see you later, mister.
well, Jimmy, let me ask you this. When you were on the show, because that character comes on as one thing and then turns into something else. Now, when you came on the show, did they say to you, well, this is the character, you're blackmailers and you're or did they say, we're going to have him become Renfield? Did you know anything? Because you said I didn't want to be a vampire. What was was they talking about that while you were still on? Was that even?
I don't remember them talking to me.
Okay.
You had to learn 30 pages overnight. You did a rehearsal real quick, and they put you on camera and it's live. Come on, man. I was just trying to hang on. And then there's a teleprompter over there. And
who's doing that? Who's playing? Oh, well, that's all right. You can do whatever you want, Jimmy. Sorry.
So, but I just...
Must be cocktail hour, Jim.
No, it's more romantic like this, don't you think?
It is good. It's kind of nice, don't you think, Kathryn?
Dangerous.
Yeah, no, I'm a nasty man.
Oh, you nasty. Thank you very much. That's a great question, sir. All right. That's a question in the front row. Did we have a question in the front row here? Yes. We did not have we do have a question in the front row. Yes.
This one's for Kathryn. How was it working with Grayson Hall?
What was it like? How was it working with Grayson Hall?
If anybody was dangerous on Dark Shadows. Grayson gave all of the young gals on the show a hard time. Let's just put it that way. She was formidable. She was tough and funny and you know, there was a sense about her that you just stayed out of her way. But she was also really lovely too, because we all got to know each other off camera. So very often, you know, we were invited up to the Hall residence, and she was a wonderful cook. So we had great parties, and we used to go up to the Brittany Dusois, and you know. So we hung out together as well, but she was a formidable woman. If any of you have ever seen Night of the Iguana and the role that she played in that was very much Grayson Hall.
Really?
Yeah, she was pretty
Charlotte, you beast. And she won the Academy Award for that. She did. God bless her. All right. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I know smoking was really acceptable back in the 60s, and like there's pictures of Jonathan with a cigarette. Did they allow you guys to light up anywhere on the set, or do you have, I know you didn't have to go outside.
You could smoke on airplanes, and you could smoke any damn place you please. You could smoke in your dressing room. You could, you know. I don't think we were allowed to smoke on the. You didn't smoke in the studio. You couldn't do that. But no, I mean, smoking was just so prevalent. You just. Thank God those days are over, too. Yes, that's the short answer to that one, yeah.
Let's have one more question. Oh, yes, miss, yes. Spider-Woman.
How about working with Joan Bennett?
Joan was quite wonderful, and I've said this before. She had 4 daughters. In fact, her oldest daughter and the 2 youngest ones I know really well, and Diana I see quite often. But she had 4 daughters, so she treated the 4 gals on the show, Nancy, Alexandra, Laura, and me, like daughters. And she'd kind of take you aside if she didn't like the look of your boyfriend. And she was firm, but she was really lovable and quite wonderful. And after the show was over, Joan and I were like girlfriends. And she was very candid with me, and I used to go up and visit her and sometimes stay up in Scarsdale. And I remember 2 o'clock one morning, 2 in the morning, we're sitting there drinking white wine and watching Joan's screen test for Scarlett O'Hara and Gone with the Wind. You know, I mean, she was just wonderful, and she dated some pretty amazing guys in Hollywood. So her stories were just great. That's the truth.
Okay, you know what? Let's do a couple more and we'll end. Okay, right near here. Yes, sir.
What was it like being coached by Uta Hagen, and what other coaches were a big influence to you?
There's Jimmy.
What was it like being coached by Uta Hagen, and what other teachers were influence to you?
Well, my first teacher was at Burgos Studios, and it was amazing because they truly had they only charged like $35 a month, so you could afford to go there. My first teacher was Bill Hickey. Amazing, he played Godfather one time. Bill Hickey. But then I went to Uta Hagen, and that was a big change for me because she was writing her book at that time when I was in class with her. So she really guided me to the art of acting, and I had such respect for her. And that's how I learned to be here now, and to be able to have the great joy of when you're acting, to be in the moment. And she taught me that, which was where you transcend and you're in the moment of acting, and that's a whole life there that is art. And then, of course, when Hamlet it was great. And I'm still talking to Win. I did a thing, my first play at the American Place, I played a Bible salesman, and I knew it well, because I had been a Bible salesman in Mississippi for 2 weeks.
Would you buy a Bible?
Yes.
I didn't do very well, but they still talk about me being, and Wynn still today talks to me, calls me, is this Jimmy Hall? And I talked to him recently, he says, is this the Bible salesman?
Next time you talk to him.
I will,
yeah,
definitely. But he's still active and he's beautiful, and
yeah, he's lovely.
He's really lovely. Go ahead.
I would say that Uta Hagen was the greatest influence on me. She was really interesting because, as Jimmy said, she taught you the art of acting, but she also taught you the nuts and bolts. She taught you how to create a reality out of just make-believe and using your imagination. But she was really wonderful, and I ended up working. Herbert Berghoff and Uta Hagen, who were married, started the Berghoff Studio, and they did a number of plays. And I was directed by Herbert. I did a couple of plays with Paul Draper, who is the famous dancer. You probably don't know, but he was blacklisted for many years. And I did a couple of plays with him, and then the Bessie Smith thing that Herbert directed. And then Saul Bellow wrote a play called Seize the Day, and he came out from Chicago, and he worked with our company. Uta was in it, and we did it at the Berghoff Studios. But that was really quite amazing to meet Saul Bellow and to be in that play. I had a small role, but it was really an extraordinary opportunity. So she was the greatest influence. It looks like we're moving in.
We are moving on. Let's have a nice hand for Kathryn, Leigh Scott, James Hall, Jimmy Hall right